Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. How's it going? We're about to get into every movie I saw for the first time in May of 2021. I want to welcome those who are new here. I appreciate you coming by and checking out the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you as well. Let's get into the video. Up first is Stowaway. Directed by Joe Pena and starring Anna Kendrick. This is a Netflix movie, probably one of my favorites of from Netflix, and man, it is a beautifully shot film. And with what goes on in the film, all the music and everything, basically, it's about three people, and there's a stowaway, and man, it is a beautiful film. And then up next is The Mitchells versus the Machine. I found this movie to be okay. I get why people like it, but I just found it to be okay. I wasn't a big fan, but it's an animated movie from Netflix as well, so there you go. And then we have a movie from the 50s called A Face in the Crowd, starring Andy Griffith. It's one of those movies that really gives you the essence of becoming a celebrity and going from rags to riches, then back to almost rags, I guess you could say. And it's such a powerful movie. I highly recommend A Face in the Crowd. And then we have Easy Rider, directed by Dennis Hopper. This is kind of on the basis of Nomadland. They're kind of equal type sort of film. If you've seen Nomadland, this is probably if you liked it, this is probably another good one for you. But I found it to be just okay. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Nomadland either, but Nomadland was a really good movie anyway, if you compare it to this one. But Easy Rider, it's a nice one-time watch, but besides that, And then we have Jaws 2. I was actually surprised because I always heard the sequels are bad. I never really heard about this one. I heard about like Jaws 3D and all that kind of stuff. But Jaws 2, it's actually not that bad. Is it any good? Where near good as Jaws? No. But Jaws 2, it's actually not too bad. And then we have Nightmare on Elm Street III Dream Warriors. I've never been a big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. This is the third one that I finally saw, and I know there's like more, but they just not really do anything for me. They're horror, probably one of my least favorite genres, but anyways. And then we have Swingers, directed by Doug Liman, starring Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. This is actually kind of a fun little film about a guy struggling, to get women and whatever, and he goes through the motions and all that kind of. Goes to Las Vegas with his friend and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a fun little watch. So, and then we have probably one of my favorites from May. Together, starring Ed Helms. Oh man, probably this is one of his best performances and one of his best movies too. Oh my word! But it's basically about him hiring somebody to be a surrogate, I guess you could say. And then we have The Wrath of Man, another really good movie from May that I really liked. Starring Jason Statham. It's really good with how they did the heist and whatever. But man, this mystery thriller type film is so good. I highly recommend it as well. And then we have Not Another Teen Movie, starring Chris Evans. This is like a parody type film, spoof type movie, mostly on the film She's All That. And it was a fun one-time watch. I wouldn't watch it again. And then we have the last Rambo movie with Sylvester Stallone. This was actually better than I was expecting. Not as good as the Rambo from 2008 and the original Rambo, but it was still a fun time. Because I guess I had like low expectations but I came out with like, hey, it was fine. And then we have Scream 3. I'm actually a big fan of the first one. These movies are like actual horror movies, but like they play off the cliches and whatever, and it's so good. Scream 2, pretty good too, not as good as the first one. Scream 3, I would say this is just as good as the second one, but not as good as the first. And then we have Three Colors White, starring Julie Delpy from the Before trilogy. These movies, they're very to themselves and kind of whatnot and all that kind of stuff. But it's a good first time watch. And then Friday the 13th Part 3. You're going to see a lot of these franchise movies in this video. And Friday the 13th Part 3, not much to say because it's by the numbers. And then we got The French Connection 2, starring Gene Hackman. The first one is really good. I didn't even know there was a second one until like last year. And so The French Connection, I finally saw it. It was okay, not as good as the first, which sadly most of the time people say that all the time. And then up next is The Thomas Crown Affair, the original with Steve McQueen. I know this movie has been remade with Pierce Brosnan, I believe, but I've not seen that, but I have seen this, and this was pretty good. Not very memorable, but still pretty good. Basically a guy, on a crime spree and robbing stuff and whatever, so. And then we have Separate Tables, directed by Delbert Mann and starring Deborah Kerr. This is a very to-itself movie with being mostly dialogue-driven. I love these type of movies, and it is really, really good. It is fantastic. And then we have Those Who Wish Me Dead. I actually got to see this in the theaters rather than on HBO Max with Angelina Jolie. It's actually really, really good about fire threatening the woods and whatever, and there's a kidnapping and whatever, and it's all intertwined. It's really, really good. And then we have Spiral, the latest Saw movie. I'm not really a fan of the movies from Saw 2 to the one before this, but this one was really surprisingly good. I actually really like this. Chris Rock, he's actually good. He was really, really good in this. And then we have The Woman in the Window, directed by Joe Wright, who directed Atonement, one of my favorite movies ever, with Amy Adams and Gary Oldman. This is kind of a modern female version of Rear Window. I love Rear Window. If you have not seen that movie, go watch it. But this movie is not as good as that, but in and of itself, it's okay. Could be better, but all in all, it was a good watch for Netflix. And then we have Dolittle. Not really a huge fan of this one. With Robert Downey Jr., sadly, this is one of those movies that just flops and it just doesn't get it anywhere for you. And then we have The Watch with Ben Stiller. This is kind of a controversial choice, but there was a few funny moments from this, but if you remember from the controversy back in 2011, 2012 with Trayvon Martin, I think it was that. I want to be careful with this movie. And then we have a 1948 version of Oliver Twist with directed by David Lean and starring Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan in the original trilogy of Star Wars. And I love this version. It's so good. Like, there's a lot of things that because I'm like so used to seeing the musical, but it was actually kind of fun seeing the dramatized version of this. It's really good. I highly recommend this. And then we have Carefree with Fred Astaire, another Ginger Rogers Fred Astaire movie collaboration. It's a musical. It's okay. Nice one-time watch. And then we have Don Q, Son of Zorro, a very, very early film from the 20s with Douglas Fairbanks. It's one of the earliest versions of Zorro. it was a nice, fun time watch. And then we have A Night in the Show. A Night in the Show, starring Charlie Chaplin and directed by Charlie Chaplin as well. This is one of his probably most entertaining and better short films. About a half hour long. It's basically about him, his character, struggling through a show and all that kind of stuff. It's hilarious. And then we have Gullivers Travels Among the Lupitans and the Giants. That's quite the word. Directed by George Mills. Then we have The Sick Kitten. These are like a lot of older silent films from back in the day, from like the 1900s. We got The Infernal Cakewalk, another George Mills. We got The Life and Passion of Jesus Christ. Ooh. Okay, so this one's like almost an hour long. Oh, man. This is probably one that is actually surprisingly really good, and I highly recommend you guys going to find this on Google and just watch it. It is beautiful. It is really, really good. And then we have The Cook in Trouble, Rescued by Rover, The Enchanted Sedan Chair, The Night Before Christmas, a nice little fun Christmas movie. And then we have The Story of the Kelly Gang. So this is an interesting one. It was a half hour long. There's like about, if I remember right when I was watching it, they said there's like 20 minutes missing from it, and like about it's been tried to be restored with a lot of things and whatever, and it was a nice watch to actually see what they did with it. And then we have the original Ben-Hur from 1907. It's actually really short. It's only like 20 minutes long. But if you've seen the Charleston Heston version, that's an epic masterpiece right there. And this kind of a short black and white silent film. Not much to say about that. And then his first job, another George Mills, The Little Darling by D.W. Griffith. And then we have when Netflix came out with Army of the Dead. Ooh, man. I actually found this kind of entertaining. It was a bit predictable for me, and it was a bit cliche and predictable. I predicted a few things, and I was just like, it's by the numbers. But it's still entertaining. Dave Bautista's fun. Zack Snyder at it again with his slow-mo stuff. And then we have Children of the Corn, The Final Sacrifice, the second one. These are by the numbers. Got because I saw all these. I got Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest. Got Children of the Corn, The Gathering. Children of the Corn, Fields of Terror. And then up next is Samson and Delilah. I'm going in order of when I saw these. So you'll see a weird order if you'd be like, what the heck? So Samson and Delilah I saw by Cecil B. DeMille, one of Cecil B. DeMille's biblical epic, who also directed the Ten Commandments. Yeah. And this is a Samson and Delilah. If you know the Samson and Delilah story, the way they did some of these things though in the movie is rather cheesy and kind of cringy. But hey, it's the 40s and 50s, so hey, what are you gonna do? And then we have the final Children of the Corn 666 returns, Isaac's Return, Child's Play 3. Then we have probably a favorite animated movie from Netflix of mine now. This is actually really good. It's a musical, Over the Moon. Oh my word, like it's so beautiful. Like the colors and the animation is just beautiful. I highly recommend at least watching it once to see how good it is. And then we have Cinema Paradiso. This is probably one of my favorites from Man Oh Man. Like this kid is in a projector booth and helping his town watch movies and all that kind of stuff with his projectionist. Oh my word. It's like one of those dream type movies, man. And it's like a love letter to cinema, and it's so good. And then we have a space thriller. Ooh, man, Oxygen. Like, holy cow. This is a frightening movie. It's intense. It's claustrophobic. Man, like, this movie, ooh, man. Like, I cannot recommend it enough from Netflix, man. Because There's a few shots in this. Oh my word, it's so good. The cinematography is just beautiful. And then we have Bride of Chucky. This is actually probably my most favorite of the Chucky movies that I saw. And then we have Scream 4. I finally finished the Scream movies too, because they got Scream 5 coming out either at the end of this year or next year. So, and then we have Seed of Chucky. And then we have A Quiet Place 2. Oh my word, guys. I think this I'm not willing to say this is better than the first, but it is as good as the first. Still apprehensive to say if it's better than the first, but man, I love this movie. It's so intense. It's just as thrilling as the first. Like, if you're able to go see it, please. It is so good. And then we have The Curse of Chucky. And then we have Cult of Chucky. This was an interesting type movie. And then we have Child's Play. This is the one version that like came out at the same time as Toy Story 4. And I remember their posters and whatever were like kind of playing towards Toy Story, and it was hilarious. And then last but not least, we have Cruella. And I absolutely adore this movie. Cruella is just so good. It has Emma Stone in it. It's basically a prequel telling the origin stories of Cruella de Vil. Oh my word. The costumes, the design, the production design, the cinematography, Emma Stone's acting. This is probably one of her best roles, and I gotta give it to her. She is stupendous in this movie, like holy cow. And it's probably one of my favorite movies that I saw this year in the theater. Man, like, if you have not seen it yet, go see it. It is absolutely fantastic. And that was my video of every film I saw for the first time in May of 2021. I want to thank you for coming out and checking out this video. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. If you are a returning subscriber, I love and appreciate you. If you are a new subscriber, I hope you go check out the channel to see if it's worth subscribing to with the top 10s, movie reviews, and other film-related content. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to click that bell. And I appreciate you so much. Stay random, guys.